In '64, Bob Bondurant drove a Shelby Daytona coupe across a finish line in France and changed history. For the first time in many years, the GT category of the 24 Hours of Le Mans had not been won by a car that carried the iconic mark of the Black Stallion. The kingdom of Enzo Ferrari would never be the same. Carroll Shelby's team had done far more than win a battle against the Italian juggernaut. They were now within striking distance of winning a war and claiming the grandest prize of all. Le Mans was one of 20 races in the World Manufacturers GT Championship. The prestige and bragging rights that came with the title would yield untold millions in new car sales for Shelby's engine manufacturer and sponsor, the Ford Motor Company. For the Shelby American team, the stakes had never been higher. Then it all came crashing down. By the time the team returned to the States, anger and disappointment had fueled a passion for revenge. They began to focus on next year's series. Carroll Shelby set the tone with a bold statement that put the racing world on the edge of its seat. Driven by a red-hot desire for a rematch, the team set their sights on giving the coupe more speed and improved handling. Working non-stop through the off-season, they added integrated air jacks, bigger brakes, and more. By the first race of '65 in Daytona, the team and the coupes were ready for battle.
The Ford-Ferrari battle begins in flashing style. Bob Bondurant zips into the first turn, opening up number 72 Ford GT.
Bondurant's opening lap foretold a stunning upset. By race's end, the Shelby Ford team had swept the track clean, winning the first 5 places. Even the prototype class went to the Americans, where the iconic Ford GT40 made history with its first win.
Sebring, Florida, minutes before 10 on a hot March morning. 60,000 spectators all waiting for Jesse Coleman's flag.
The series then moved to Sebring, where torrential rains tested cars, drivers, and crews to their limits.
The 12-hour Sebring Grand Prix of Endurance is over to claim victory for America.
With back-to-back wins at Daytona and Sebring, the team appeared unstoppable. But the series would now move to Europe, where the world's most challenging courses would test drivers and crews to their limits. It was the sacred proving ground of motorsports and the home turf of Ferrari. With a heavy workload of other Ford projects keeping Carroll Shelby tied down in the U.S., control of the team was handed to Ford's highly successful European rally manager, Alan Mann. Mann would be using champion British drivers Jack Sears and Sir John Whitmore, along with 2 more coming from Shelby, Bob Bondurant and Alan Grant. Shelby designated Bondurant to be the team's lead driver. But after landing at Heathrow, Bondurant learned that Mann had other plans. Ironically, the first test of this uneasy alliance would begin where the team's hopes were crushed in '64, Monza. Despite out-qualifying the field, Bondurant was still ordered by Mann to run 500 yards behind the Englishman. When the American went out too fast, Mann had the pit crew signal him to slow down. The series progressed through the winding mountain hill climbs, classic country road courses, and legendary racetracks of Europe. Bondurant continued to lead the team in victories, defying Mann and irritating his English teammates. While Enzo Ferrari's mighty GTOs enjoyed sporadic wins, the majority of points were going to the Daytona coupes. Motorsports fans were thrilled to get 2 major rivalries in a single season. What started out as the Americans versus the Italians had become the Americans versus the British. It was the Revolutionary War all over again, and the deciding race was about to take place on the most fitting date possible. Reims was a 12-hour endurance race on a 5-mile course in a land where ancient kings were crowned. With the Shelby American team far ahead in points, a win here would secure the championship. Alan Mann, stinging from mechanical failures at Le Mans just days ago, demanded that Bondurant and co-driver Joe Schlescher run 1,000 yards behind Sears and Whitmore, who wouldn't go any faster than needed for the GT win.
Over 40 to keep the revs off it. Okay, down the straight.
The team's internal struggle reached a boiling point. This time, it was Schlescher who defied Mann and passed his English teammate. During the night, Jack Sears blew a rod and limped into the pits. All the Ferrari GTOs had been retired with breakdowns, giving Bondurant and Schlescher a clear shot at the win. Thanks to heroics by the team mechanics, the Sears Whitmore coupe was resurrected in time to join Bondurant for a photo finish. At 11 a.m. on Independence Day, another king was crowned in Reims. For the first time in history, an American team had won the World Manufacturers GT Championship. Some might say it happened despite the team's internal strife, but perhaps it was because of it. Maybe Alan Mann gave Bob Bondurant more desire, while Bob gave Alan and Ford much more than the victory they'd asked for. Together they reminded us that underdogs can win, and something else, that nothing extraordinary in this world comes without one hell of a fight.